philanthropist Ricky Smiley. Ricky lost his oldest son, Brandon, who was just 32, 6 weeks ago, and has been bravely sharing his journey through loss and grief on social media. I saw a post that he put on social media with a photo of you talking about how much he admired you. Even on his journey that included his struggles, he recognized the dad who was trying to love him from afar still loved him.
Oh, yeah.
And we had that post that he talks about admiring you and wanting to follow in your footsteps. To say goodbye to your son, this is the post. He said, "It took me a while to realize that my mom, dad, and grandpa are my best friends."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was firm. I'm a tough dad.
Yeah.
I'm a tough dad. I didn't play no games, and I was firm. I was loving, but firm. Whenever he got sick, when he had COVID, you know, whenever my kids get sick, they come straight to me. I'm the doctor in the family. You know, I get everybody together. You know, in the conversations, and the discipline, and the structure, and the willingness to be the bad guy, because parenting is not a popularity contest. It's not. We have to start giving kids more of what we had as opposed to what we did not have. And that's creating a society of entitlement and everything else by giving them everything. I gave him, and I rewarded him when he had the correct behavior. And I'm just a little old school. I'm just like my granddad. I didn't play any games. It's been times when he would get disrespectful on the phone, and I'm getting my car and drive to Birmingham. You know.
How did you receive the news? Who informed you? Because I know you weren't there.
Yeah, I was in Dallas.
You were in Dallas.
At my apartment, getting ready to watch the semifinals to, Cincinnati Bengals, watch that game. So, Brandon's girlfriend sent me a text message, said, "Hey, Brandon is trying to contact you. Call him at this number." I called, nobody answered. So I called her back. I said, "Hey," I said, "Nobody answered." She was crying. I said, "What's going on?" She said, "Brandon overdosed." They rushed him to the hospital. I found him found him unresponsive. So I was like, okay. I said, "Hey, calm down. Everything's gonna be okay." I'm checking a flight. So I hit my assistant and said, "Hey, I need to get to Birmingham now." So she found the 12 o'clock flight. That was around 10 that morning. My mother talked to Brandon at 9 because they had agreed to go to church. She texted back, said, "Send me the address." He didn't respond. And she texted him again, saying, "Okay, I'll be at church." And so then Brandon's sister and mom called me, and they were crying in the background, and I already knew.
Yeah.
I knew. I said, "What's going on?" And she was crying, and she said, "He died." And those are her exact words. And I said, "Hey," I said, "It's going to be okay." And I started trying to give her some words of inspiration while I put things in my backpack to try to make it to Love Field Airport, and I jumped on a plane, and that was like the longest flight. And that day it was windy, it was cloudy. The flight was rough, the plane was dropping and twisting and turning, and I was sitting on the flight just like this the entire time. Like, what else? My day couldn't get any worse. If I don't make it home, I just don't make it home. At least I'll be with my son. Then I started thinking about my other kids and my grandkids. Say, "Hey, I hope I make it home safe." And I got home, and it was just heavy. It was sad to hear the one memory I can't get out of my head is hearing my mother cry, because my mother has 33 years clean, and so she understood. And even when a lot of us like, "Hey, we can't do it no more," my mother stuck with him and believed in him and tried to hear my mother, cry like that. That was probably the worst part for me personally.
The official cause of death for Brandon, authorities have not. They're waiting and pending additional lab work. But based on what you know about your son, the arrows point for you that it was.
Yeah, probably. If I had to guess personally, probably got a hold to something bad that was laced by fentanyl, which is killing a lot of our kids. Brandon is the third family member to die at the same age. The past two 2 years of fentanyl, and it's rapid. It's bad. It's terrible, and I just hope that kids would not take anything ever. I will hope parents have these conversations with these kids earlier. They're getting them in middle school now, in the form of candy, in the form of everything. We have to have these tough conversations, just like when we were coming up about sex and HIV and whatever. My grandfather talked to me every day, and I don't understand it because this was a conversation that went on in my house every single day with all my kids, nieces and nephews that I raised as well. And I just don't understand it, but I just hope that any parent or any kid that's watching, because I know the parents are having the conversation, it's up to the kids. We need for the kids to please listen to your parents. The Bible said, honor thy mother and thy father, that thy days may be long. And honoring is not, honoring is, being obedient, doing what they tell you to, because, we didn't just wake up and decide that we want to pick on you. We wake up, we have your best interests, and it's just tough being a parent, but we have the teenagers and college students, listen to your parents. Don't take anything, period.
I know that your grandchildren have been a big part of your healing process, and coming up, we'll have more of our conversation with Ricky Smiley, a conversation he wanted to have to help other family members out there who are right now dealing with someone they love who's battling an addiction, how he is healing with the love of his family around him when we come back.